Have you ever wondered how fractions are used in real life? Today's word problems may give you some ideas. This problem says that Rudy ran 9 9/10 miles and walked 6 2/10 miles. How much farther did Rudy run than walk? First, we need to figure out how to solve this word problem. The problem asks how much farther Rudy ran than he walked. This means that we are finding the difference and need to use subtraction to solve this problem. To start, let's take the amount Rudy ran, 9 9/10 miles, and then subtract the amount he walked, 6 2/10 miles. Since we are subtracting mixed numbers, we'll need to subtract the whole numbers and then subtract the fractions. First, we need to subtract the whole numbers. 9 minus 6 equals 3. Now we are ready to subtract the fractions. What is 9/10 minus 2/10? 7/10. Rudy ran 3 7/10 miles farther than he walked. Let's try another problem. Javier added 1 7/10 cups of walnuts and 1 6/10 cups of almonds to a batch of trail mix. How many cups of nuts did Javier put in the trail mix in all? First, let's figure out what type of problem this is. The problem asks us to find the number of cups that Javier put in the trail mix in all. That tells us that we need to add up the different amounts that he added to the trail mix. First, let's start with the amount of walnuts he added to the trail mix, 1 7/10. Then let's add to it the amount of almonds he put in the trail mix, 1 6/10. To solve how many cups of nuts Javier added to the trail mix in all, we will add 1 7/10 and 1 6/10. First, we need to add the whole numbers together. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Now we're ready to add the fractions together. What is 7/10 plus 6/10? 13/10. 1 7/10 plus 1 6/10 equals 2 13/10. However, 13/10 is more than one whole, so we need to simplify our answer. Let's take 2 13/10 and see how we can break it apart to simplify. First, let's take the whole number 2 and then split up the fraction 13/10. We can take out 10/10 to make another whole and add the remaining 3/10. Now we can add 2 wholes and the extra whole from 10/10. 2 plus 10/10, or 2 plus 1 equals 3. Now we need to take the remaining 3/10 and put it with 3, making 3 3/10. Now we know that our answer of 2 13/10 can be simplified to 3 3/10. Javier put 3 3/10 cups of nuts in the trail mix in all. Let's try one more problem. At the beach, Layla and her sister built sandcastles and measured their heights. Layla's sandcastle was 4 1/3 feet tall, and her sister's was 2 2/3 feet tall. How much taller was Layla's sandcastle than her sister's? Since the problem asks how much taller Layla's sandcastle is than her sister's, we know that we're finding the difference between the two sandcastles and need to subtract. Let's start by taking the height of Layla's sandcastle, 4 1/3 feet, and subtracting the height of her sister's sandcastle, 2 2/3 feet. To subtract mixed numbers, we subtract the whole numbers and subtract the fractions. But right now, we can't subtract the fractions because 2/3 is bigger than 1/3. We need to rewrite our mixed number, 4 1/3, so that we can subtract. To do this, let's take out one whole from 4 and turn it into a fraction. When we take out one whole, we break 4 apart into 3 wholes and 3/3. We also have 1/3 back from our original mixed number. Now we can add these together to create a mixed number equivalent to 4 1/3. The only whole number is 3, so that becomes our new whole number. Then we add 3/3 and 1/3 together to equal 4/3. We are able to rewrite 4 1/3 as 3 4/3. We can replace 4 1/3 in our original problem with 3 4/3 so that we can subtract. Now look at the whole numbers and subtract. 3 minus 2 equals 1. Now we're ready to subtract the fractions. What is 4/3 minus 2/3? 2/3. Layla's sandcastle was 1 2/3 feet taller than her sister's. Great work!